Hi again. I'm back with another coloring video today, and this time I'm using a brand new stamp that I just got. This is Annabel the Mermaid, and she's from Crafty Sentiments Designs, and I stamped her with Memento Tuxedo Black ink on Copic X-Press It, and I'm just going to get started doing a little bit different skin tone than I usually do. Because she's a mermaid, I wanted to play around with a lighter skin tone. So instead of my usual E000, E00, E11, I'm going with an E50, E00, E01, and then we're going to throw in a little BV00 for a shadow, so that'll be a fun little different take on skin tone. So I'm going to start with my lightest, the E50, and I'm just going to come right in here on Annabel and start laying down color. I'm going to have my light source coming in from the top right. Most of her body is facing that way, so it'll give me a nice way to spotlight her. Okay, so I'm going to work just on the face first, so I can keep it pretty wet as I'm going. And then my E00 is next, and just right on top of the E50, back here on the shadowed area, I'm going, completely over it, because that's all going to be a lot darker than this side of her face. Underneath the hair. And the hair is going to cast a little bit of a shadow there, and then like this side of her nose is going to be a little bit in shadow. Okay. And my E01. Just going to lay that on there. Again, filling up this space back here because that's going to be really dark. Yeah, I usually work kind of seasonally, but as soon as I got her, I just couldn't resist. I couldn't wait till summer to color her up, so I thought this would be a fun excuse to play with another skin combination. Okay, so I've got all my colors on, and now I'm going to work my way back down, blending them together. So I'm back to my E00 and starting right over the 01. And just flicking a little bit further in this time. Further here. And finishing it off with the E50, filling in the rest of the color on the face. And that's the E50 is what's going to make it, it's a much lighter base than when I start. A lot less pink, I guess, so you get a more luminescent skin tone with a combination like this. So now while that's still wet, I'm going to go in with an R02, and that's what I'm going to use for my blush rather than the R20 on this, just because I'm working with the lighter colors. It's going to stand out, it not be so obvious as the R20 would be. And I'm going right over that with the E50 to dole it down a little bit more. And then over on this side, I am going to blend it a bit with the E00, just because I want that side of the face darker still. Okay. Now I'm going to actually let that dry a little bit before I start laying the shadow in. So I'm going to go ahead and use the same combination and do the rest of her skin on her body. So I'm just going to start laying down color real quick on the arms. Oh, and I'll have a link to the Crafty Sentiments designs down below, so you can, if you like little Annabel here, and there's a lot of other cute stamps. I have another one that I'll probably be using for a video here sometime soon too. E00. And again, so I'm always kind of laying the darker color, you know, opposite that light source coming in. And this one, we're just getting the color on. I'm not worrying really about the blending or any of that. A little bit under the top there, and we'll come around and give her a little belly, and then her belly button there. Now my E01. Get all the way into that because that's a really deep shadow there in her, where her neck is being covered by the arms and the hair and all that fun stuff. Okay, now working my way back, this is where I start blending everything together. So my E00, and I'm going to flip her because I like to, when I'm blending this, especially on arms and stuff, to kind of pull towards me, and it helps I think, achieve that kind of conical shape, you know, that our arms and stuff have. That they're round and not just flat. So they're actually kind of wrapping around the bones in our body. And then finishing off with the E50. I'm going to come from the other direction, in that lightest, because I don't want to go all the way into the E01 with it, because I want to keep the contrast between my light and dark going. Okay. So now I'm going to take my BV00, and you can use you know, any of the, well, not any of the, you know, but the really light BVs, DOBV 00, the 01, and then also the V20, V22 work well. And just think of it, it might seem a little weird, and but when you think about our, you know, skin, because, you know, you look at the blue veins that lie underneath the skin, naturally your skin actually has kind of that bluish, purplish undertone to it. So this just gives it a little bit more realism, and I don't usually use it when I'm coloring most characters, just because I'm happy enough with the kind of cartoony look. But if you want to experiment, you want to get a little bit more realism in your images, this is a great way to add depth and shadow. That's going to help the image pop, and it works on her too, especially since I'm really trying to convey her light skin tone, and that she doesn't get a lot of sun being, you know, under the water and whatnot. So I'm just going to take my BV00, and this is just going to get hit back here in these darkest shadow areas. Just, I mean, a little goes a long way. I'm going to get kind of underneath her nose there, and then back here underneath her chin, and up on her where the hand's casting a shadow. There's going to be quite heavy down here under the neck, and then just, you know, hit a little bit anywhere where we're going to have that darkest shadow area. And really light. This is kind of like when we're flicking in on the hair, just using the very tip of the marker to get that on there. We don't want to be very heavy-handed with this at all. Otherwise, she'll start looking a little muddy. Let's see what I got. I think I want to add a little bit under there, and then under here as well. Okay, so I think I got everywhere. Oh, back here. Okay. And now I'm just going to basically go with my E01, my other dark, and kind of right over top that to blend it in a bit. And it's also going to reinforce the shadow again, being my darkest of those kind of skin tones. And that is looking pretty nice. I'm liking this on her. She's looking very under the sea-ish. Okay, and then I'm just going to, oh, my 00, one more time, where I want to blend it out a bit. And it's not too bad in most of these places, so I'm not gonna, you'll be able to tell, you know, how much you need to hit it again, where you want it a little bit more dark. And then finish with the E50, just blending that little bit in that we just added. Nice. Oh, she's looking so cute. Okay. So now I am going to add a little bit, I'm going to take my E50 up here just to get it wet, because I'm going to add in some eyeshadow now, and I'm going to give her a fun little YG00. It's a nice bright yellow green, and by keeping that wet up there, it's going to spread out a little bit more and not be such a harsh line. And then also going to add a little bit of BG000. Oops, wrong end. Just kind of right over top it here on the outside corners of her eyes. So it's going to kind of fade from the blue-green into that yellow-green. And then I'm going to take my E50 real quick and just blend from the top of her forehead down, just to give it a smoother blend up into her skin. And I'm also going to take my R02 and give her a little bit of lipstick, or just lips, natural lips. And I'm also going to take a little bit of my BV 00 and hit the bottom lip a little bit, right under that line. And then with my R02 again, just to give it a little bit of shadow as well. And then for her eyes, I think I'm just gonna go in, oh, let's see, we'll give her a BG09 on her eyes. Okay. That looks really good. I'm really happy with that, and I hope that gives you a fun little different combination to play with, and you play around with the BVs and the Vs to kind of expand your you know, the skin tones that and the looks you can get with that, especially if you're going to be working with like art prints and stuff like that. Small stamp characters, you can get away without using it. They don't need it most of the time. But, you know, if you just want to play and get better with the markers, it's a great thing to try out. I'm going to cut this video off here before I do the hair, because I think I'm running long enough. But I'll see you in a little bit, and we'll do her hair, and then we'll probably finish her off with the tail after that. So I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for watching. Bye.